I love the brand Represent Glow to the point where I've spent over $2,000 on their clothes over the last 4 years, and I'm actually wearing one of their sweatshirts right here in this video. I would say there's a good chance that if you were watching this video that you love the brand as well. For that reason, you're going to enjoy what we're doing here today. I have been watching their email marketing channel develop over the last year, and I see some pretty obvious holes strategy-wise and content-wise that we could use to increase brand perception and increase revenue across the board while still keeping that Represent essence intact. So what we're going to be doing today is explaining where those holes are in their strategy. We're going to fill those holes in their strategy with some new emails, and we're actually going to write and design those emails from scratch today right in front of you here in just a moment. The first thing I want to say is that Represent Glow's email channel is actually pretty good. I've placed plenty of orders through their email channel, from getting an email, getting hyped about a new release or whatever it is. I do want to say overall directionally, they run their email marketing in an effective way. However, just because it's good doesn't mean it couldn't be better. And there are a couple of little holes that I'm going to point out here, and we're going to fill them, and we're going to make their email channel even stronger as a result. The main thing that Represent do really well, and it's something that really carries the brand and keeps a lot of hype around the brand, is that they release a ton of new products all the time. They make really high quality products. They have collaborations that people love getting involved in. They just released a collaboration with Oasis, which is absolutely incredible for someone like myself to see, but it is also stressful and prone to problems. We often see this with our own clients where release dates get pushed back. They can sometimes get pushed back at the last minute because there are so many things that can go on, from manufacturing to just tons of other issues that could happen. And so it's a highly pressurizing situation to have to release product all the time and to have that be the backbone of your attention marketing channels. Yes, it is super effective, but we also want to have some fail safes, and we also want to have some evergreen content to use there just in case our releases don't happen in time. Now, what is an evergreen email? An evergreen email is an email that can sell, does not discount, and can be used at any time of year. These emails for a brand like Represent that does a lot of drops are going to be a huge part of the strategy, because they can take the pressure off the team when releases are potentially delayed, or if there aren't many releases happening at that particular moment in time. So the thing that we need to keep in mind here is that Represent has a super specific brand voice, brand tone, brand perception. With what we're trying to do here with these emails, we don't want to make it super mainstream or have everything, look like other brands. It's a super unique brand, so we need to keep that Represent essence alive while still getting the best of both worlds. There is also an elephant in the room here when you're talking about a fashion brand that's more on the luxury end, which is that you don't want to over design your emails. The strategies that work for another brand that can get away with kind of louder designs are not going to work for a fashion brand where you're trying to always say less than necessary, more fashion than e-commerce, even though you are an e-commerce business. So we need to create emails where the concepts are strong, but they're not too strong and will not kind of take center stage over the close. We need to make sure that the close are front and center in all of our imagery, and that they are the star of the show and always remain that way. So first, let's get some ideas together, then let's write our copy, then let's design our emails, and finally we'll load them into Klaviyo and get them ready to rock. Okay, so now we are getting to the point where we're actually going to put pen to paper here. We're going to start writing these emails. I'm going to show you guys how to do this with the help of AI also. So we're going to bust out ChatGPT here in just a moment, per kind of the AI guide as well that we have on the channel. We have a full AI copywriting course on the channel, which you can check out also as well. What we're going to do is we want to at the same time plug some of the holes that we see in their strategy. So like we kind of touched on, in fashion, generally the brands you see do the best release products very, very often. And that sounds great. So just release new products often to increase lifetime value and get people to come back over and over again. But obviously that puts a severe strain on the organization in terms of operations and just in terms of keeping production that high. And then, it's very difficult running a fashion brand. So from here, what we're going to do with these emails is, for the times where we're not releasing products, or maybe when releases get delayed, or so on and so forth because of stock issues and what have you, or production issues from suppliers, we're going to basically focus on evergreen emails here, right? So evergreen emails, what did we say just earlier? Evergreen emails can sell, don't discount, and can be used any time of year. So we're going to come up with our ideas here. I will go for a bestsellers email. So off the top of my head, I know some of their bestsellers are the 247 pants, Owners Club, hoodies. Let me see what else would be definitely there, like graphic tees, right? So we'll go for those, right? We'll go for a bestsellers email. We'll bring these out. This is just something that we can promote at any time of year. We could probably do this to our new customer segment, so people who haven't yet purchased, people who are getting a bit more kind of ingratiated with the brand. So I think we'll put this as number one. We're going to do a bestsellers email for Represent. Number two, what would I do? I would do a community showcase. So I'll show like run clubs, pop-up stores, other community elements. So the guys do like, They do like high rock stuff, and they get all their customers together for these, which is really, really cool. So I think a community showcase, I think that would be a really, really good idea for us to do for Represent. And then let me think for our third email. I would probably do like an overall brand story and timeline. This is something I actually think they're kind of weak on in their emails in general, which is that, for their new customers. So let's say if we were to just send this to people who haven't yet made a purchase, or they've just made one purchase. They're not people who've made, I know, however many purchases I've made from the brand, for example. So I know the brand story, but I don't think they make this super explicit. I think you would have to be following them on social media for a while to understand it. They don't really show off, here's our heritage and here's our pedigree as a brand. So show the whole rep timeline, pivotal points, the landscape today. So I actually like these ideas. The main thing like we're doing in this fashion context is that we don't want to use too much copy. All of these emails, we kind of get away with not using too much copy. Let us actually get into the writing of things right now. Okay, so with the copy, I don't exactly lay this out in a table format or so on. I just sort of go through vertically as I would sort of want the email to look. So we're going to start here with the subject line, and I'm actually just going to put in here. So this is going to be our best sellers email. So we're going to go down here. So subject line, we're going to be like our best sellers. We want to keep this nice and short. I'm going to put this as like the essence of Represent. I like this. So subject line, our best sellers, the essence of Represent. This seems like something that Represent would actually put out themselves. So we're going to have our 3 items here. What I'm going to start with that we want to put into all of our copywriting is we want to essentially have hero image with CTA. So we want to have these things in here. So we're going to have the hero image with the CTA. You'll have body copy explaining. So actually, sorry, hero image with a headline, short headline CTA, body copy explaining the idea of the email, a section for the 247 pant, a section for the Owners Club hoodies. I will go back and just put this into all caps because we're actually going to put the product descriptions into ChatGPT here, which should be pretty cool. Section for the Owners Club's hoodies, and a section for Represents graphic tees. I know this brand so well that I can kind of just do this off the dome, but like what you can do as well, I'll actually show you a little tip here. So you can go here with Shopify, right? And you can go to your website, or you can go to any website really out there if it's built on Shopify. So I'll go here to Represents website. Just going to add this at the end, and let me just get rid of that space. I will come back here to the end, and I'm sure the products I said are, best sellers. Oh, I might buy that. That's just released. Might take a break from this video to buy these. And then we have, if you come down here, I'm sure the 247 pant is here somewhere. It's got to be. Yeah, well, we can see a lot of graphic tees. Surely the 247 pants here somewhere. I know they are a bestseller, but yeah, okay. We will come back. We will come back to that just in a little bit here. But section for the 247 pants, section for the Owners Club hoodie, and section for Represents graphic tees. So that's what we're going to have here. Short image, slight copy explainer for each product, and the CTA on each section, right? So that's going to be put in there. We're going to go here for short ending copy section, final CTA. I'll have, footer. I actually wouldn't even put social brief into this email, I don't think. With this section, right? So we'll have this out here, and we will kind of do the same thing for the community showcase here in just a moment. So I'm going to put in the structure of this email. Then what I'm actually going to do, just as I'm thinking through this, is I'm going to put comments into how they should flow, and I will pull some images from the internet that'll kind of make sense so that I can kind of make this structure out in my mind, and then it'll be super easy to hand off to the designer. In most cases, even though in this case the designer is going to be me, but I'm just going to make my job super easy for myself on the design side, so I'm not getting stuck and then having to go back and redo the copy. You always want to be thinking of the design in your copy so that it makes everything a lot easier. Okay, so thinking on our community showcase, community, and then what is one of their taglines? I think they say like the unbeatable spirit. Beautiful. I know the brand very well. I think this is actually like a subject line they would use. So we come in here, hero image. I mean, let's actually just take these two here, because it's going to be structurally like how we'll actually do it. We'll say show off our run clubs, our pop-up stores and customers all together with quick explainers for each section, at a CTA to go to the website after this section to see community. A short copy section that explains how we are on social media in the form Instagram and YouTube, and document everything I do with YouTube channel and so on. Final CTA, adding links to Instagram and YouTube, and then I go footer. Okay, so this is going to be super helpful. I'm going to pop all this into GPT in just a moment. We should actually get like really good outputs here. Brand story and timeline. This one I'd be interested in. So let me grab this here. We will come down here, page 3, brand story and timeline. So subject line, review line. I'm going to use the title of their book, Decade of Dedication, and we'll go. So a decade of dedication, our story. That doesn't sound the most rep, but I think it is. I think it'll be okay. Short headline CTA. So we'll actually just use these here. Then I'll come back up here. So I have, little points. I don't feel like I'm giving enough data here. Let me think for a second here and come back. This makes sense to me. So I'm going to come back here, just make this text. Cool. So we now have a lot of context that we're actually going to give to this AI model here in just a second. So let's jump to ChatGPT and let us go through this chat. Cool. So we will take all of our data here. So we'll go to the bestsellers email. Okay, I'm going to ask it here. Sometimes GPT isn't the best at coming up with subject lines. Subject lines, you're better off just keeping your own domain for the most part. You can train it, but it's not the best. So let me see here. Let me paste this in and see how I'm going to do this. Let's give GPT as much context as possible. Cite the text below. The product descriptions are below for you to be able to generate the best output possible. Owners club hoodie. Let's go into here. So like we touched on in our AI video, we need to give these AI models as much context as humanly possible. Let's come into, I'm going to search for the 247 and here we go. Cool. We will go here, see, and then we'll go for graphic tees, clothing. Let's go t-shirts. Then we'll go back here, make the product description of our graphic tees more general and do not mention welcome to the jungle. The product description, aside from the specific product name, is generally applicable to the other graphic tees we have. Finally, I'm going to say, before generating your response, please let me know if you have any questions or need any more context. If not, you may generate your response. Now that prompt is absolutely killer. So killer. So we'll go for that. That prompt ender where you're just saying, if you don't need any more context, if you need more context, let me know. If not, then yeah. See what I mean about these subject lines being awful? Like, let's just, I did not give this machine enough context. Let me actually stop it here. I need to give it some example emails. Let me come back out here. I made one of my errors with creating copy. Another important note, Represent Clo is a luxury brand, and to maintain high status, we want to always say less than necessary. I will attach a few of their emails to this prompt so you can see what I mean and understand exactly how to structure the emails. Now, let me jump to my email. I'm going to pull up a couple of represent emails. We will go from there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go download message. I download this. Oh, sugar. I'm going to put this into here as an EML file. Then I will come back out and I'll say here's from another order that I made. Let me go here and say, let's go here. Their voice has definitely changed over the years. It's definitely not as luxury as it used to be. Maybe it's helping them. I doubt it is though. Okay, doke. So we have uploaded a couple of emails and let me go here. So I had to give it some notes in the voice and just let it know that maintaining high status in general, but definitely with the brand, we need to always say less than necessary. How to structure the emails and what the tone of voice is like. Now, let us see what happens here. We'll come with our prompt and we will see exactly what happens. It's going to read the documents and come from here. This is a lot better. This is already a lot better with the subject lines, but still, yeah, I just never like AI subject lines. They're just always, yeah. Please rewrite the email and make the copy a lot shorter in each section. This is way too long for a fashion email in general, but especially for represent. Oh yeah, this is good. Oh yeah, these are good. These are good. We're getting somewhere here. We are getting somewhere. Discover the icon. Okay, this is good. Okay, the above output is very good. Let's continue writing emails like this. So give ChatGPT a compliment. Let him know he's done a good job. Okay, so for our next email, we're going to be showing off our community as a brand. Represent does a ton of run clubs, pop-up stores, IROX events, and other things to connect with its customers. Please draft an email showcasing the community and use the structure below to guide you. Let us go and let's see what it actually outputs here. And what you'll actually find, this is just copywriting in general with AI, you'll actually find that it starts to provide better and better outputs as you give it more and more context. So within an AI copywriting session, you'll actually find you get far more out of things. This is good. This is good. This is in one output. I really like this. We'll come back here and then we'll come for, okay, our next email will be showcasing the brand's story. Use the structure and context below to do so. Please let me know if you have any questions or need any more context before generating your output. I know I type super fast, so at least the video will be a bit quick. Thankfully, we'll be getting out of this pretty soon here. So the subject lines are even getting better. I don't know if represent would say this. I'd say from Bolton to the world probably would be a bit more represent. You know, like just like in fashion in general, just a meta tip, always say less than necessary. Oh yeah, this is hot. This is actually hot, this copy. This is really good. We're gonna basically paste this into our doc here. I've also, what I'm gonna do in a second here, I'm gonna find some images from the internet. We're gonna go through these in just a sec and then yeah, we'll go from there. So let me copy this in and then we'll go to our images. Okay, so we have these in here. I'm gonna add my own subject lines and preview lines from the beginning here because I do think they're a little bit better. So let me go here with the third one. Back down to the bottom here for email 2. I forget what we had. Let's start with bestsellers. The essence of represent. I do think my subject lines are a lot better, you know, if I may say so. And I think you'll probably find that yourselves, you know, for any subject lines and preview lines you do. It's actually, it seems like such a small thing, but I've never been able to get AI to do it well, which is kind of odd. We'll figure that out, I'm sure, at some point. But I think this copy is hot. So let me go down here. I'm going to show you some images that I pulled in from the internet, which I think are pretty cool here. So for the bestsellers email, we're just going to use these 3 images. So I'm just kind of pulling these in. We'll probably might do a GIF for the graphic tees, probably won't actually. It's not really represent style to do GIFs. Then the 247 pant here. I was looking for the highest res image I could find. I couldn't find any community elements here, which is a little bit annoying. I think this email, you know, this image, if it's kind of a little bit, you know, if it's kind of put down to be kind of smaller in the email, I think it won't be that low res. Probably is too low res. This image I think is really hot. This is great for the community. I think we can pull this in, and this kind of has like that kind of faded 90s look over the image as well. Here with the guys, you kind of see them running a marathon as well. They see these guys wearing like super colorful clothes, and then the guys just standing out in the all black. So I think it kind of like shows like represent standing out above the crowd. Here's pretty sick image, and this kind of shows off the community and so on. And that's one of the founders, George Heaton. And yeah, so we have some of these images, so I'll be able to pull these in for the design and kind of give myself as much data as I possibly can. And yeah, I think we're looking good here. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump over to Figma. We're going to make ourselves a little template here.
Okay, so we have got our little design board here. I've just pulled a font, which is a Google font, which kind of has the link in here, which is for the font Inter, which we can see. So this is what we're going to use for all of our stuff for represent here. So what I'm going to do, let me just actually drag this frame up here, is we're first going to create our heading, right? So we're going to just come in here. We're going to go and we're going to be using our little tool here. We're just going to create a quick rectangle. I'm going to go after this so I can make it 600 pixels. Yeah, roughly we'll just put it here. This is 600, and then here for the height. We don't want that to be like too big. We want it to be like 80. Cool. So that looks pretty good. What we're going to do here with the background of this also is we're going to make this white so it kind of stands out a little bit more there. And then what I'm going to do quickly is for this email, for our first email, is I'm just going to go and find a hero image really briefly that kind of suits this email style. And I'm also going to find a logo. And then what we'll do with our inter font is we can kind of just put on some kind of headings here. I'm not going to put on a ton. We might just put like the represent logo, maybe left, left center. Yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll go and teleport forward and get those things now. Okay, so we've got some elements here. I've got their regular logo here, which I've kind of pulled to be left at center. We're just going to drag this up here and just make sure that like looks okay. Maybe add centered there. Maybe we want to put that like there. I think that looks quite good. What we're then going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to use some text. And we're just going to pull over here. And let me see if that can be an inter. It is. I'm going to say new. And then I'm going to take text again. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to pull this over. Don't worry, we're going to center these here in just a second. I'm going to say bestsellers, and that block needs to be a little bit wider. There we go. Cool. So let me move this here. Sweet. I think that looks pretty decent. We'll move this up here. And this product image is extremely clean. Like basically all of Represent's product images. What I'm going to do that's going to be slightly different is just for the hero image, I'm actually going to put some hero text over this just to see how it looks. Maybe it's a bit too much, but we're about to find out. So let me grab our trusty text tool here and I will pop this in. So we have our text block here. Let's go. Let's see what we actually said in our copy. Okay, so we have our finished copy output here. We said start with the best. That low-key looks kind of good. So we had to start with the best. And we had a CTA is going to be explore bestseller. So we're going to have to make a quick button here. We're going to do that with our rectangle tool again. So let me just grab this here. Explore bestsellers. That actually looks okay. So I think here just for the represent emails I'm used to getting, I'm kind of used to them being, not so designed and stuff like that, or like not having hero text here, but I actually think this looks quite good. So next thing here, we're going to start with the body copy section. So I'm just going to go back, rectangle tool. I'm just going to pull this down here. We'll figure out the exact sizing just here in a sec. So I'll pull this to be, as always, like any email, just going to pull it to be 600 pixels wide. There we go. And then I'm going to pull this in terms of the fill to be white. Beautiful. Okay, so let's take our text. What was it? Every journey starts with an icon. We'll copy this. Zoom in here with our text block. Let's paste that. Every journey starts with an icon. This box is definitely way too big, so we'll maybe pull up to here. How do we want this to flow again? So we want okay, yeah, so there are going to be product sections after this, so we're going to want this to be a little bit smaller, so make that even smaller, make it like 120 high. And now what we're going to do is make our product sections. We're going to go and find our 247 pants and we're going to pull those in. The owners club hoodie, we're going to find some graphic tees as well, so we'll find a couple of product images here that we can work with, and yeah, we should be good to go. So to find a 247 pant and owners club hoodie graphic tees, we have found all of these. So we have an image of the 247 pants, which you can see here pretty clearly, product I own myself. Then as we come down here, you can see an Owners Club hoodie pretty clearly. And then we got a graphic tee. We had to go for the Oasis one here. So we're going to pull in these sections. We're going to try and make these work a little bit. I don't know if these are exactly white, the background, so it could look a little bit off with kind of the white background with text, but currently I'm liking what I'm seeing. So yeah, here, all day comfort, all purpose style, the 247 pant is time with you wherever you go. Okay, so let's pull in a block behind these. So there's kind of a backdrop for them. So we're going to basically layer the images on top of these blocks and then we should be good to go. Okay, so we have our text block here, 247 pants. Let's not ruin the spelling of that. Then we're going to pull in our next text block here as well. Just grab this. Now, so we have our image here. I don't think that's actually a fully white background, but basically I'll pull this in above this section so the image can kind of slot in nicely here. Just move this and I will layer it on top like that. And then, yeah, that's looking decent. I think the last thing that we're going to need for this section is just going to be a button here. So I'm just going to add our text to it. What did we say for the text was shop the 247 pant. Cool, let's do it. We've got our text block, shop the 247 pant. Cool. And then we're just going to move this call to action in. So we can go beneath there. I think that looks decent and that should be pant singular, right? There we go. Thank you, Figma. After a million clicks. 247 pant, all they convert all purpose style, the 247 pant, that is exactly what we had, 247 pant. Yeah, cool, that was a typo on my part. So let us move on with the next section. Similar thing here, just gonna move this image around over here so I can get some space for myself and kind of see how that would look. So there should be not too much spacing there, really. Pull this up here. And then, yeah, similar thing, we'll pull in a block to go beneath this. I'm actually just going to like duplicate this block and then move this off. This is going to save me a lot of time. So just going to move this in here. That should, and that works perfectly with the spacing. I'm going to swap out the image and I'm just going to move us in here. We said with this, it was going to be Owners Club Hoodie, Owners Club Hoodie. We're going to take our text here, effortlessly oversized. Let's move in here. If you want to keep this in the exact same font, you can copy from Notion, but if you don't have Notion, you can just do this from Google Doc, keep one letter in the block, and then you can go back and get rid of this. So make sure that's all in the same font. We're going to go for the Shop the Owners Club Hoodie, or say Shop Owners Club Hoodie, because I think that'll be really long with the Shop Owners Club. I'll put that in plural because they have lots of different ones of these. Take this block, copy it, and then I'm going to scroll down here and just attach that there. This is when you, this is for someone like me who's a little bit lazy. You can basically do a lot of kind of shortcuts in Figma. Graphic tees, you know, funny, if the Represent founders are watching this, please make a graphic tees section only on your website because you have to search around ages for those things. Bold designs, premium cotton, the perfect graphic tee for any look. Once again, I'm using Notion, so it'll copy in the text in the right font, but you know, we'll just use our trick again. Make sure we go back and get rid of this. Shop graphic tees was what we said. Shop graphic tees, cool. Now let's go back and look at our section, closing copy. Start with the icons, step into the world that represents. We're just going to need one more text block here, basically, or just like one more white block to put down here. And we're going to start working on our footer here, which then we can just pull across the kind of heading, and the footer we can just pull across to our other emails that we're going to make here. So let's grab this here, 600. I would probably pull this up to like there or something. Then grab our text. Let's go and start with the icons. That was what we had. Start with the icons, step into the world that represent. Good old copy and paste. Looks really good. Then I'm actually just going to take this button here. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to take this CTA. I'm actually going to have to put in this one. It says shop graphic tees. So I'm just going to make this text. I'll actually discover the icons just so I can see it clearly. Discover the icons. Okay, now I know which one I'm looking at. So this is the CTA I've got. This is the block I'm trying to put it above. Okay, I had to do some moving around here, but now this is kind of working. So start with the icons, step into the world they represent. Maybe I just lengthen this a slight bit. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then the CTA being a little bit kind of thicker than the other ones looks a bit good. What else do we have here? That was basically it for the first email. So let's go in now and let's make our footer. So with our footer, we don't want to make this in like one section. What we want to do is actually make it like a couple of sections that we then like wrap together, because we're going to be putting on a load of design elements onto this. We're going to be putting on a logo. We're going to be putting on social media icons. I'm also not going to make this white. I want this to stand out. F3. Slightly, so just like a slight distinction there. You can see it's like a light enough gray. What we're going to do now, we're going to find represents main. I made this 150. Going to find represents written logo, but then also the icon, right? So we're going to put that above the written logo. Okay, so we have got these here. This is the F3. I maybe make that a bit smaller. It's very, very big. I'll pull in these above here. I don't know about you, but I think that looks really, really clean. I do like their logo quite a bit. So we'll move on with our second thinner kind of triangle here, where we're going to put their social media icons. One day I'll get this to exactly 600. A few 598s today, some 599s. We'll get that there, and then we'll go back to our F3. Cool. So we've got our icons here. I'm just going to try and like move these around so they can be relatively close together and just like evenly spaced. What I'll actually do is I'll just like move these closer together. So I'll just cluster them all around the middle. So let me see. And cool. Now we got this block ready to rock. Pull this in here. We'll just let people. And then what I'm going to do is add one text block onto this. And we'll just go for, let me try and find the copyright symbol online. We have found the copyright symbol. Let me move here, go there. How does that look? There we go. Perfectly vertically aligned. And then we're just going to go one final rectangle. And then our footer is going to be good. Goodness gracious. Someday I'll get a 600 on this channel. 600. We're going to get that aligned. I'll actually just drag that down a little bit. 35 would be good. Here is just going to be our little unsubscribe block. So I'm going to put the fill of this, grab the text. We're just going to write in our text here of no longer want to receive these emails. Then you can unsubscribe here. Got that there. And then I'm probably just going to make the height of this a little bit more. and then just move this down to be perfectly aligned. Perfect. And there we have it. Let's take a look at our first email here. I'll get rid of these frames here in just a second, but you're going to see how this rolls down here. New header, a new hero section, and I will go back out a little bit more. New hero section, you can kind of see how the body kind of flows down here. Similar thing here, 247 pant, the Owners Club hoodie, the graphic tees, absolutely perfect. What we're now going to do is go through and look at the community, and we're going to use our represent community here. So now we're going to do the second email, which is going to be looking at the represent community. So let's take a look. So I've pulled in a hero image that I really like, which is of the founder, George Heaton, with Ollie Marchant. I think this guy's name is, I'm pretty sure. But we're going to pull this in here for the community and kind of show off a lot of the physical training that the guys do. So I'm going to grab this here. Let's grab our heading, drag that across, pull it up here, just line those up. Beautiful. We're going to find this subject line, the represent community, unbeatable spirit. Headline, be part of the represent community. I'm going to grab this here, and then I'm going to pull this up. What number is this? It's rectangle 5. Pull this up here. Join the represent community. I'm probably going to pull this down a little bit. I actually think that maybe looks better centered, just like with the other one here. I'm going to grab this button, take this here. You're going to take a quick rectangle here also. Just going to pull that and make it 600 pixels. Classic. And here, pull that here. Rectangle. Cool. And this is just going to say explore the community. Cool. God, these product images, just as I'm going through, are like these lifestyle shots are so clean. Okay, let's grab our text here. I'm going to pull a text block over here too. Grab our text here. Use that one letter trick. Cool. I really like how this is kind of forming. I'm going to pull this up here so it looks right. I think that spacing looks about good. And then we're going to start to pull in some more elements here. I'm going to find some images from the internet, and we're going to pull in more stuff from their represent community. Okay, so we've got some good images here. What I think we'll do is we'll go like one center left, one center right, one center left. So we'll kind of go a little bit like this sort of a direction. Then we'll kind of go like here. Let me see, let me just move this up so hopefully it'll kind of cool. That'll be kind of center left. And then this will be center right. And then we'll just keep those between one another like that. So you can kind of see, we'll sort of go down the email left to right a bit. Actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to drag these ones out of the way, out of the line of fire. And then we're just going to do kind of a long block here where they can all sort of fit in. We can have a couple of different sections here. That will be long enough. Yeah, cool. We'll grab our image and we'll pull this in here now. Okay, we're leaving something that's a little bit skinny for ourselves here. So I'll just, I don't want to downsize the image because it's already kind of tight in there. So I'm going to put one text block over here and just see can we fit in what we need to fit in. What do we have here? Run clubs, lace up and hit the pavement. Our run clubs over style meets sweat. Let's do that. Pull in this section here. Lace up and hit the pavement. That feels squished. Now that looks a little bit better. I think that'll just about work. We'll make another section here and we'll just pull these across with the same text. So I'm actually just going to take this section, move it down here to the very bottom. Just going to pull this image in. You'll see I'm oh so lazy. Pull that across. What did that say? Pop-up stores together with you. This is what we got here. And once again, using our trick. And then we'll pull across this image, pull it to the front, take the section, pull it down here. Is that gonna work? Let me think. If I pull that over. Okay, cool. If we move that over to the edge and actually just don't have it come in from the inside, it actually looks okay. So yeah, I'm actually quite a fan of how this looks. Come back here, one more triangle, or sorry, one more rectangle, I should say. Is that a 600? 598 here. Cool. Move that across. Is that looking? It's looking good. From Instagram to YouTube, video come every moment. Follow us to see. Pull this across. Let's check this text box, which is 538. I'm going to take this typography as well and pull it to the middle. Follow us to see the latest runs, pop-ups, and stories behind the scenes. I'm going to follow on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to make 2 buttons, and I'm basically going to put the Instagram logo and I'm going to put the YouTube logo onto this button. So let me go here. I'll make this kind of like a square-ish block. Move one here too. Make this, oh, shoot, same here. Cool. Alignment. Let's find a logo. Let's pull in some text. Okay, so we got these here. See if can I get this to actually line up is the thing. I think these might be a little bit too wide. Okay, cool. And we'll make one more. Pull these frames above. Cool. There we go. Follow on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, can be popped on there, footer, and then yeah, we're just gonna do a clean footer here. Fortunately, when it comes to having a clean footer, we actually already have one. So I'm gonna take these blocks, I'm gonna go and grab all of these, Command C, I'm gonna just pull this onto here, and beautiful. We've got ourselves a nice little email here now, join the Represent community. So here's how we're looking so far. We've got our header sections here, and you can see that represent new bestsellers. You can see the hero images. You can see the button on the outside. You can see all of the body and kind of the images and how we're pulling those in. And then, yeah, similar sort of vibe to what they have going on at the moment. So pushing people to their socials. Once again, I love their socials and kind of what they do there. So yeah, I think they need to push that more in general as a brand. Number 3, a decade of dedication, our story. Cool. Let us grab this bad boy here and pull him over. We'll get these evenly spaced out from one another. Cool. Okay. So decade of dedication, I actually have an image in mind that I'm going to use, which is the actual one that they use for the documentary. So I'm going to find that and pull it in here. Image successfully found. We're going to put that there and should be good to go here. So we got the rectangle here. I'm gonna grab this block over here, join the Represent community. Where is this? Okay, join the Represent community. What did we say this was? Our story, your style. Cool, that is a bit too high up, I would say. Let's move this down here. Let's take our button. At this point, you know, when you're moving along quite quickly with the emails, I'm just gonna, there we go. So now that's looking quite nice. Since I'm in Bolton Garage, I'm gonna take that copy. First, I'm gonna make this section. Drag that across. I'm going to put text above this now. Cool. Once again, use our little trick here. Command C on this. Cool. I think this is looking pretty decent. I'm thinking for this section, I might just pull in like a similar one to this where we go kind of vertical. And I'll basically just pull in images that I find online. I'll move out kind of the buttons though. So I'm going to try and find, you know, there's some cool points in their story, like Justin Bieber wearing their stuff and that kind of thing. So let me actually stop doing that. So I'm going to pull our other sections across here. I have some stories from the brand that I know of, like Justin Bieber wearing their stuff and things like that. The release of 247 and stuff. So I'll pull this all into the story here. That needs to be moved up. Sweet. I'll probably remove the buttons here as well because we are telling a story. I might leave that one there. So I'm going to go and find these stories and see can I get some images to pop in here for these instead. So this would be the garage, Bieber, and then we'll find the 247. Okay, so we've got our images. I'm going to move this up the way here. I got to take the place of this image on the block. So I'm gonna move that above here. We will change the text here in just a moment. Take our second one. I think this is Justin Bieber wearing Represent back in the day, which is kind of cool. Then we'll grab this. That didn't work. Pull that in there. And then we'll grab this. Whoopsie. We'll grab this image and then we'll move these up to kind of like space them properly as sections. Cool. And now let's go with our body copy. So at the beginning, it's actually low-key really cool to see this. Just for me as like someone who's followed the brand for a while. So beginning, let's copy the rest of that. Oh, ChatGPT is correct about Travis Scott having worn them. I didn't know about that. The breakthrough. Cool. Now, what does the button say? I think this would look better kind of as a subheading. And then I think that this would look better. Well, these two sections would look better if they were side to side. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like if this kind of moved over and was like that, and then we went represents mission is kind of went like represents mission is clear. Let's try and do that. Let's go for one more section here. Let's pull in two more text sections here. I'll try and find a tick icon here and I'll try and pull in this text. Have it be like provide the full wardrobe for the modern man and then become the best brand in the world. Okay, cool. We got these here from trusty old Canva, actually, of all places. Sweet. Looks really, really good now. So it says see how it all unfolds on Instagram and YouTube. Cool. Actually gonna grab these. Subscribe on YouTube. Gonna put one more text block over here. And for the final act, once again, see how it all unfolds. Instagram and YouTube. I'll probably move this down a bit. And then from there, we will take our footer and grab And let me actually, this is just kind of finishing touches now to make sure that this is all okay. Cool. Now let us look at the final results. So we have got this really, really nice email here. Start with the best. This is just going to be a bestsellers exploration kind of email, like go through and look at the 247 pants, go through and look at the Owners Club hoodie, the graphic tees, and then kind of ends with a final CTA, a nice little footer here too. Then kind of start a little bit more on the community side of things. I really like the way these have actually turned out. Now, granted, we are very much helped by them having very, very good product imagery and just generally very, very good content. Run clubs, pop-up stores together with you. And then here, finally, we can see the kind of represent story. I am pretty happy with how these turned out. So just like that, we have fully redesigned represent close emails. We have pretty much transformed them. We've transformed them into emails that are going to get higher click-through rates because they are far more easy to click, but still keep alive that sort of fashion essence, because like we said at the beginning of the video, we don't want these to be too crowded. We don't exactly want to be doing gimmicks or anything like that to try and drive up our click-through rates. We just want to have really solid designs like the ones that we've made today. If you want to learn more about designing really, really good emails, you can click onto our full design guide linked here on the channel. Also, if you're brand doing at least 100K a month, you can book a call with us to see how we can scale your lifecycle marketing in the description of this video. You can also sign up to our newsletter in the description of this video and get a ton of free goodies when you sign up. Aside from that, I'll see you in the next video.